Welcome to the Butt Fixer Podcast, brought to you by Shane Gentry and John Van Olden. Sit back, listen up, and listen good. You're going to hear it all right because we've already done it all wrong. We're going to help you meet your goals and fix your butts. Welcome to the Butt Fixer Podcast. And the man is in the house.
All right, we're on.
We got Paige with Cackalacky with us today.
Hey,
Holy
guys.
moly! You're like a unicorn.
Only when there's housework to be done.
That's right. Yeah, man. So good gracious, I gotta say, first off, I love your product. You know, I've been using it. I've been using your sauces forever. All the other stuff. I got your coffee cup up here in my cupboard, and I've got in the Sally, and I'm in the Sally wagon here, the Sprinter, and I've got your coffee beans up. I'm Cackalakied out.
Wow.
Hey, well, the feeling is mutual, sir. I've got my little. Hey,
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're the brand back.
That's great.
That is too cool, man. Well, man, let's go down the path, man. This is the Butt Fixer Podcast. We want to hear your story. Let's go not just what you got going on today. Let's start. Where did it come from? How did you come up with this idea? And especially, where did the name come from? It's amazing. I can't wait to hear the story.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing started about 24 years ago, around 2000. The internet was young. I was getting my master's degree at North Carolina Central University, and I had this idea for making a hot sauce. And I remember in our local grocery stores, I remember seeing hot sauces from everywhere but here, and from the Caribbean, and they're all great sauces. I'm not bad-mouthing anybody like that, but I was like, this is North Carolina. This is the cradle of Q. I mean, there should be some kind of hot sauce representation here that is the sauce for us. So that's kind of the idea I had. I just started making the sauce in my kitchen. I was a middle manager at a global telecommunications company, and I was bored to tears with my day job. So it became kind of a side hustle for me, a side project. And I started working on my hot sauce every night after work. I started playing with it and taking samples back to work. And then people started buying my product. Wow. Work. I was like, well, that's kind of when the light bulb for a business illuminated. And we were at a party, and we were having everybody try our sauce, my wife and me, Caroline, and more on her later. Big piece of our story. But we were at this party, and one of my buddies was like, hey, man, pass me some of that Cackalacky. And we're like, what? And it's like, it was that simple. It was that. Remember, this is 24 years ago.
Wow.
So the name stuck. We were like, that's the name. And for the first print run, actually I had my last name on it. So it said Skelton's Cackalacky sauce. And we figured out pretty quickly nobody cared about the skeleton guy, and they're all about the Cackalacky. So that's how the brand was born. So if you peel back a few layers of the veneer, we are a hot sauce brand. It's kind of funny.
That's how it started.
So we're very proud of hot sauces.
Did you have any other names like picked out before that happened? Like, had you thought about
it was just
what you're going to call it?
I was so focused on getting the recipe right, I just didn't even think about naming anything. Yeah, I know, right?
Now, so is this now? This is. Are we talking about the pepper sauce that's out now?
No, the pandemic. Took our spice sauce, the original sauce, out. We had some.
Oh, wait a minute. The original one was that sweet potato based?
Sweet potatoes, exactly.
Yeah,
really great.
I remember because I used to get that all the time. I was like, that's what got me when I saw it on the shelf for the first time. I was like, sweet potato hot sauce. What in the hell is this? I loved it. We used it all the time.
Overcoming adversity on your program yet?
Oh yeah. This is what the whole thing's about.
Prime case for you, but don't want to go too far into it. But yeah, it was just like so many things during the pandemic. It was upside down, and we were like, we've got to keep making a product. You can't just kill a product. So we rolled out with the pepper sauce to replace it, and it's selling better than the original spice sauce, much to our relief. We do get a few, I won't call them hate mails, I'll call them love letters, but about bringing our original sauce back. But, you have to make decisions in business, and we stand by that one.
Wow. So what happened? You ended up with what was there like all of a sudden a shortage of sweet potatoes or something, and you could get them, and was
exactly.
that really?
It was a crazy time. Just getting lids was a hard thing. Getting tins for our peanuts, everything. Just pick labels. We had to buy different label stock, and just everything was just sideways. So it was rival thing than anything else. Anyway,
where did let me ask one more
John,
question.
Go ahead.
When you're making a hot sauce, then are you like, I'm imagining like what you're in your kitchen and there's all kinds of shit all over the place, and you got a notebook and you're like, because you got to get all these ratios right so that you can scale it up to like big production.
A great pickle explosion of 2000. It was very much, we do all this stuff in home, and then we'll have friends and family try our whatever we're working on, sauces in this case. So with any sauce, but particularly the first sauce, we came up with kind of a system. It's part science, part whatever. And we would line up wine glasses and take the base recipe and add that to, an equal amount to the wine glass. Today we're going to add sweet potatoes. So we'd add, modicums of sweet potato. And we're like, okay, that tastes best with this ratio. Wow. It was a little like trial and error, a lot of sticking your finger and stuff. And yeah. Oh,
that's what I imagine. I imagine there's shit all over the place.
I was experimenting with pickles with our very first sauce, and I don't know if y'all know, but like the old school, we did this before ninjas were a thing, and so pickles would catch in the book. So I'd take a wooden stop the blender and jam the pickle down. I was like, okay, well, this is going a lot faster. Stop the blender. So y'all keep going. I jammed the spoon in there and it exploded. Thank my wife Caroline see all this, and as soon as I thought, she walked in, pickles all over the kitchen. But our marriage survived the pickle explosion. But we're still happily married, and she's a big part of what we do.
That's got to be complicated, though. I mean, then it's like, okay, what kind of pickles did we use? What kind of
everything?
Right? I mean,
what's wild is to that point. I have props here, but this is our secret sauce. This is our Eastern North Carolina inspired barbecue sauce. But
some good stuff.
Thank you very much. It's a very simple recipe, but we found out. I'm trying to choose my words carefully, but you can hide a multitude of sins in a large recipe. It's got 20 ingredients. You got a little more bandwidth. It has more ingredients. Any change is more noticeable. Does that?
Yeah, I hear you. That makes sense.
So, the recipe, the more difficult it is.
All right, got it. Shane, go for it. Sorry.
Oh, man. Yeah. I was just kind of curious, like with the original sauce, where did sweet potato come into the mix? Like if I was going to make a hot sauce, like I would never even dream to put sweet potatoes in anything really. But I mean,
like one of these experiments, I had all the wine glasses lined up, and I was looking for something to thicken up the sauce, and xanthan wasn't something that was readily available to me. So I was buying ingredients at the local Harris Teeter. By the way, I remember this is 24 years ago, but it cost me $24 a gallon to make retail. The numbers weren't there. The scale to making it home. But I was like, I was probably breaking even when I was selling this stuff. But I was happy I was selling something, and something I made. Really,
right.
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah, I mean, that completely slipped my mind. But I did use that quite a bit. Matter of fact, if I go back through my feed, I could probably find some pictures where I was like, "Hey, did y'all see this?"
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, that's been one of those. I don't want to tease anybody, but it's one of those things. I've been talking with Caroline. I'm like, maybe we should bring that back. Slow down the love letters, a little bit.
Right.
But yeah. So
anyway, growing your own, then you don't have to worry about supply chain issue, right?
What's wild is like with the sweet potato thing, it's very North Carolina. North Carolina is the number one sweet potato producing state in the United States. And so you think that was, I kind of put the cart before the horse. It was just simply something that I thought was like a nice natural way to thicken up the sauce. And then like the whole, like we live in the capital of sweet potatoes thing kind of like registered later.
Yeah.
I can get down with that. Well, it worked. It was
right.
good. I went through several bottles.
Find an acorn, right?
That's funny.
So okay, so that was your original. Like, so what did you come up with next? What was your next accomplishment there?
Somebody told me once in passing, and it stuck with me, that marketing is an ear, not a mouth. And I was like, what? And the more I think about it, it makes sense. And we just listen to our customers, really. So we started out with the hot sauce that you're talking about, the sweet potato based hot sauce. And then people would be like, hey, do you have any, this is good, do you have any vinegar style sauce? Well, if you hear that enough, okay, there must be a market for that, must be a demand for it. So we rolled out, the vinegar style. Same thing with Bold Gold. Everybody's asking for a mustard style. We call that the Mopar of barbecue sauce. Is like in a crowd of 10 dudes, there's gonna be like one guy that's the Mopar guy, right? That's right. And I say that lovingly and respectfully, of course. But we rolled out a mustard style sauce.
Yeah, it's really good too. I love that too, man. That's a great binder. I use that on anything that's getting a rub. Has got a layer of that on it first.
Well, thank you. I'm honored, and that's how
awesome.
we got to know each other is through
of course, yeah.
Cooking Facebook page.
That all just that's how most of the things work, or I'll just get a wild hair idea and run it by Caroline, and like just to explain that dynamic real quick. I'm the gas, she's the brakes, so like she's the common sense department, and I'm kind of the wild idea department. But I had an idea for doing a charity one-off hot sauce actually, and I contacted a major donut manufacturer at North Carolina and about using their glaze, and I contacted one about their syrup, and it was kind of like this North Carolina sauce I wanted to make. Just do one batch, sell it, and donate the funds to our local food pantry. It's called Cora, by the way, and that was the idea. And the donut people were real nice, but they're like, they got about 2 layers into management. And they're like, yeah, this is not for us. They're very polite about it. I was like, cool, wild hair idea. Thank you for your time. Cheer Wine, on the other hand, wrote me back and they said, this sounds interesting. Can you meet with us? Yes, I can do that. so I went down there. I figured everybody who'd ever pitched this idea for a Cheer Wine sauce had brought their daddy's best barbecue recipe, and they're probably barbecued to death. So I thought, well, if I'm going to fail, I'm going to be memorable. So I bought a little, one of those tiny igloo coolers that you see, a lunch pail kind of cooler, and it was full of vanilla ice cream, and I brought some red Solo Cup bowls, and we sat around. It was like a scene out of a movie. We sat around the conference room table, the boardroom, and the patriarch was there, and the whole family was there, and I was pitching this idea, and they're all sitting around eating vanilla ice cream with my barbecue sauce on it that I made with wine syrup. This kid's gonna make me or break me.
How I don't know. That sounds good to me, but okay, man.
Try it. Kind of like just a little side note. It's kind of like, you ever had cheesecake with the strawberry?
Oh yeah.
But anyway, it's a great flavor. But anyway, so they I guess I got the nod from the patriarch or something. Everybody cleared out except one gentleman stayed behind and to talk with me, and I thought maybe to show me the door. And he said, well, we think this got something here, and what do you think about making this a full-time product versus a one-off? And I thought, yeah, we can do that. And and it was that simple. And we call this the legendary handshake, but we shook on that deal. And, and it's been a great partnership going on. I have to get this down. It was since 1990. I don't know. I'm back in 2017.
Wow.
For a second there.
Wow.
But but it was a handshake deal, and it's been we haven't looked back. It's been gangbusters.
So from your first from your first hot sauce, how long were you working your day job?
Oh God,
like making hot sauce.
Yeah, that's a really great question. So I was at WorldCom in 2000. I left, I think, around 2003 or 4. So I worked on this day and night and at work. Whenever possible. I started taking days off. I remember clearly to fly to like Albuquerque or Austin or Houston. I was going to hot sauce festivals, barbecue festivals, anywhere I could go. I was going. And while I was working But to answer your question, I'd say 3 or 4 years. And then I made that transition. And maybe listeners will be interested in this little anecdote, but I really didn't know how to work on my own. And I felt like I needed to report somewhere. So I thought, well, there's a guy in town that was like a big Rick Bayless fan. He had a Mexican inspired restaurant. He's kind of a well known guy. Phil Campbell was his name. And he owned the Flying Burrito, which was an institution in Chapel Hill for many, many years. Anyway, so I got a job there as a line cook in the back of his Mexican restaurant to hone my skills a little bit. But I did that for a few weeks, and my wife was like, "Why? I gave you this gift to strike out on your own and go do something, and you went and got the job as a short order cook." Like, but. So, where I'm going with this is I was several years later, I was explaining this exact story to a buddy of mine. And he said, you know what that was? That's the 80-20 rule. And you were in the 80 doing all the work. You're a worker bee. And now you're going to the 20 where you're creating the work for the other 80. And it was a change of mindset. I was used to reporting somewhere and being told what to do, but I didn't have anybody to onboard me into this process. So I just kind of was freaked out. I needed to be someplace at a certain time to do something. And once I kind of got past that, like, okay, I'm in this. This is what I'm doing, and this is what I need to be focusing on 24 hours a day. Everything started clicking.
Wow.
But that was just my personal experience. But it was like going from a steady career, paying gig, right, to like, oh man, I got to hustle to make lights on. It was a process. It was kind of scary. It was a little daunting. So back to Caroline, my wife, the story that we tell when we're telling the story together is I was walking out of the building where I used to work, and she called me thinking that we should go to this. And I was like, really? You want me to go tell my boss right now? And she's like, no, come home. So I was like ready to drop the mic. She's like, no. But that's I owe all of our credit and success not only to our customers, but to Caroline, because she's the one that recognized that my light was shining under a bushel bag.
Right.
Yeah, that's always a crazy, I'm sure, conversation. Like, okay, we're gonna cut. I mean, it's like cutting off. It's cold turkey, right?
Yeah.
Paycheck's gone. Yeah, that is always for everybody. I mean, I've got when we start a new training company in another city, we have trainers. They're usually working second jobs and are working primary jobs, and they start training, and then eventually they want to make the jump, and it's like, wow, that's a big, usually it's, I mean,
world doesn't understand, right?
Yeah, I mean, even if you're making, $25,000 or $50,000 a year, I mean, cut it off, it's over, right? It's crazy. So that's a big
went from
big
getting paid no matter what to like, it's serious.
So how far along were you in the company when you cut off your day job? Like, did you have a manufacturing facility? Were you making it all at home?
We have actually, I'm glad you brought that up. Just a footnote that we use almost all North Carolina based manufacturing facilities for everything. So like our t-shirts and hats are printed and embroidered here in North Carolina.
Right.
We have 2 sauce manufacturing contract facilities that we use. We have 2 peanut roasting facilities. So we have some redundancy. For example, your lead times with factory A ballooned out to 8-10 weeks. You pivot real quick because you got a live purchase order. You got to really pivot to these. I can do it shorter and so on and forth. But so all that got on the rails before I left my day job. I had manufacturing all set up, and it really became a business while I was working.
So, and so you don't have like a Cackalacky warehouse where you're making peanuts and you're making sauce and you're making everything. You're contracting all this out to peanut roasters and everything.
But we do have, we're very proud. I'm sitting in our 5,000 square foot warehouse right now.
Awesome. Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah, you have. And,
I can confirm.
to put things in perspective, I remember I bought one of those tiny mail scales, and that was like a milestone. I'm like, okay, I'm spending money on business, right? So I still look at everything. I'm looking at a forklift right now. Everything is like a milestone to me, and you just
Wow.
fight tooth and nail to hang on to that mail scale and that forklift in the warehouse and all that. Yeah. But
Yeah.
what were we talking about? I'm sorry, you had me kind of jump track.
I think like the last thing we were at is skipping over from your day job to full time doing
Yeah.
this. And how many products did you have when you decided to make the leap?
We had one product, and we did things right, and we did a lot of things backwards. We really had no inkling of doing brand extensions. We didn't even know what branding was. We didn't know what positioning was. Um, I can get into that stuff if you like, but we did a lot of reading. I nerded out on business stuff before I made the leap. But the main thing was just having the right support group. In this case, my wife, and now our teenage son helps us with the business. But that was it. I had somebody, an enabler, somebody that believed in the vision of what we were doing. And now Caroline is the business sense of the business, and I can continue to do the creative and the marketing and all that stuff. But keeping us in business is what Caroline does.
What was your major in college?
English.
English, yeah. And then what did you do at the telecommunications company?
I wrote good reports, postmortems.
Wow, that's crazy, man.
I put it to my degree to great use. But
I know
North Carolina Central for my master's degree in information and library sciences, which I think I used to a fair degree, actually.
Okay, all right, cool. Yeah. So Shane, your turn.
Man, I just want to go. I
was digging into like, how do you get this thing to?
That was fantastic. We would both asked the same questions.
Yeah.
Well, this is. I'm very passionate about this business. I'm passionate about the future, and what I mean by that is, I share what I can, when I can, because the world's going to go on with or without me. If that makes any sense. So when people come to me, if I can save them a misstep. There's somebody called me yesterday, a guy named Bart Ramsey. He has a brand called Bart's Old North State Barbecue Sauce. I know him from like 18 years ago. And he, like everybody, he's got to pay the bills. So he went into other careers and whatnot. And he called me and had some questions about how to do this and that with his barbecue sauce yesterday, which is really, I'm flattered. He makes a fantastic sauce and he's a great guy. But anything that can kind of help him, save him a few years, because one misstep will either put you out of business or it'll cost you years, or can.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm happy to help people when they've got their act. They've answered all the easy questions themselves. And they got
right. For sure.
Well, I can attest to your generosity because you've got an amazing ambassador program, which I'm super proud to be a part of, and it's kind of fun. I always get a giggle out of it. It's like the ambassador program. They've got everybody in that group's got cooking teams. They've got social media channels, and they got all this stuff going on. And I'm just cooking for me and Emily.
Yeah.
I try my best to make the ambassadors. In some cases, there are people that just I couldn't help it. They're very passionate about our brand, which is just unbelievably humbling for me. Even you, Shane, because you say you're a novice, but I'm just blown away by the stuff that you create with our products. It's
I love it. I love it. It inspires me to cook different, to come up with different things. It's like, I wonder what I could use this mustard sauce. What can I use this hot sauce? What can I use this for? What can I use that on? It makes me get creative, which is, and cooking is just a big passion of mine, even though I don't do it for, I don't do it for a living, but we like to eat good around the house.
Yeah. And it's just nice to have people that are, we don't have an agency. We're a small family running at the end of the day, we're a small business. We have Titan aspirations, but to have folks like yourself that have all this talent and they're casting a spotlight on us, that's our marketing agency. It's real. And it's all we can pay anybody is with our gratitude. So, but it seems to be working. We were a few years into this. It started out with Matt Kroll out of Kentucky, and y'all can follow him if you want on Instagram. It's Meet, MEAT, the Cook, Meet the Cook. And he approached me about being an ambassador, and I was like, "What's an ambassador?" And it snowballed into like a thing. It is very ad hoc, but it's one of the best assets we have. It's just real people creating real content. And it takes a load off my plate because, I don't have to be like, I was like racking my brains for puns and,
Yeah.
So it's just nice to have like a whole team of folks out there doing the heavy lifting for us.
Well, you're sponsoring like a growing, like super worldwide, soon to be the biggest podcast on the planet.
Well, yeah.
First sponsor.
Hey, we're gonna make $9 one day.
Well, all three of my friends will be watching.
Yeah. Hey, I think they already are. I think those are our 3 YouTube followers.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all right, man. Stay humble and stay hungry. That's
yeah. It is. Man, so what's in? So I know you're a big music fan as well.
Yeah.
And I do want to say before we get too far away from your generosity, but also your openness.
Cackalacky.
Like, yeah. Now that's how you know you're balling right there.
Oh man.
Hey man, Shane, you had your sticker on your guitar. I remember.
Yeah.
The SSS on it.
Yep. Of course, always advertising.
Yeah. Like, hey, we got three guitar players here now, right?
Oh
yeah.
We're all in there. Yeah.
That's trouble.
That's fun. Yeah, that's for sure. What do you get when you get 3 guitar players together? Like,
a podcast about barbecue sauce.
Yeah, and a bunch of debt.
A bunch of debt. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think about it every once in a while, like and just the creative people like guitar players. And so I couldn't make it honestly as a working musician in my youth. I should add. So ultimately, this is very similar to that line of work. You're always hustling, you're always promoting, you're just and as a major creative outlet for me personally. So there's a through line from musicians to sauce people, I think.
So are you working musician also then?
No, good Lord.
Oh, you're not out there making any
I'm
money.
Working, and
You're
I'm
working.
And that's why I draw this distinction. I'm a guitar player.
Yeah. Me too. I mean, I can make a semi-recognizable sound come out of a guitar. If you have a good imagination.
I saw Shane play it. I heard him play it. I was like, that's when I realized I'm a guitar owner and not a guitar player.
Yeah. Well, I can say that too. That's
It's just the same 12 notes over and over really fast. It's all
That's
right.
the secret.
It's not. Hey, anything outside of pentatonic, I'm lost. I'm a complete moron when it comes to that. I don't even know what the names of the strings are still. I've been playing for 40 years. I still don't know what.
You got the fat one, you got the skinny one.
You get the big one and the little one, and then the one's in the middle. I still look at the pack of strings. I'm like, is this the right one next?
Yeah, me too. I take them out in order, man. That's how I do it.
It always cracks me up, like when you read these interviews with guitar players, famous guitar players, more famous than you, Shane. And
that's hard. That's hard to do.
Like, what strings do you use? They'll be like 9s. I'm like, I don't know. I guess.
Yeah.
The ones that are paid for, those are the strings.
Right.
Hey, self promotion. We do have a few more famous guitar players than Shane on our podcast. If you get a chance to listen to it, we have some fans, Shane has a fan that loves hearing him read your commercial. That's her favorite part of the whole podcast. She goes, I laugh my ass off every time Shane reads that thing. Shane, you should read it. Go for it. Have you heard it?
Oh, I gotta do it for the man.
Do it in front of the man. Unless you want him to read his own commercial.
Wow.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it right here as soon as I find it.
Our sponsor. Yeah.
All right, there we go. We're gonna do it together.
I guess we don't have to send Paige any products.
No, I'm good.
Yeah. I'll send you a can of peanuts.
I would love to be on the receiving end of that. That would be awesome.
But we do appreciate you sponsoring us. And you are our first and only sponsor at the moment that we're running commercials for.
Really? So it's
Yeah. Honestly, no, read it. I want to hear it. Shane, you got to read it for Bunny.
So now we're gonna do it in the radio voice. No, Cackalacky is hailed as the local brand with a national following, and now celebrating more than 2 decades in business. North Carolina-based Cackalacky brand is the iconic Southern lifestyle brand that specializes in Cackalacky branded sauces, snack nuts, beverages, food, service, and menu items, apparel, and outdoor sporting goods, sponsored events, and more. I got to talk faster. I want to see how fast you can move. So the company also makes and distributes Cackalacky Cheerwine barbecue sauce, as well as Carolina Tar Heel barbecue sauce,
there it is,
which is an officially licensed collegiate product. Congratulations, by the way. And Cackalacky is a family-owned and operated Pittsboro company in Pittsboro, North Carolina. And if you are a Butt Fixer podcast listener, you can go to their website, load up your cart with one of everything that they've got, and put in ButtFixer15 at the discount, and you will save, was it 15%?
I hope so. That's what you've been telling them.
Yeah.
Paige is like 15. I thought it was 5.
Yeah. My check cleared, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. But no, we really appreciate it. This is really great having you on.
Thank you.
So I got some questions for, business podcast wise, but I also have some personal questions. So like, I love rubs. When are we going to get some? I've got the pepper. I've got the pepper powder. And the beer. You got the one. Is it you still?
Andy, but yes, the beer, the seasoning that's on the nuts. Yep.
We got that. Are there any plans for brisket rubs or specific type?
Long story short, I'll tell you a funny story. No, short answer is no. We're
okay.
We got plenty going on. But if I have a lot of people saying you need to do brisket rub or what, okay, then we'll come out with it. But our focus right now and what really keeps the lights on are our snack nuts. I can do props as and like our Cheerwine barbecue sauce.
That's my daughter's favorite. Every time she comes to visit from college,
nice.
Break out the Cheerwine.
Well, please thank her for us. And then of course, the Tar Heel sauce. But those just kind of keeping them in distribution and expanding your footprint. That's plenty with these kind of staple products that we make. So the rubs, not so much. But anyway, the funny since this is I'll call this a business cast. The funny story about the rubs is in 2004, I think it was, Food Network had me I made a rub called Beerbecue. And Food Network had me go out to Las Vegas, and I did a thing for Barbecue with Bobby Flay. And we,
nice.
That's cool.
Baby, our ship, it was cool. Well, our ship came in. Well, our ship did not come in. The Beerbecue rub did not sell very well. So we shelved it for a while because it was like, well, it's a lost leader. So why do we have it? So we put a pause on that, and then we rolled out our spicy, and not everybody did spicy. So we're looking for another product to book in that spicy, and we're like, well, let's try barbecue on the nuts. Brother, man, that's when it So that became a hit. It's kind of our silent success. Everybody knows our sauces, of course, but the barbecue nuts we sell a fair amount of.
Right, and you just got those into Costco, right?
That's correct. Yeah, in the big bag, I've got my.
You can. If you're in Costco, you got to go big.
You always. This is what a nerd I am. This is my favorite thing about this bag. Ready? Bam!
That's awesome.
That's fantastic.
I love that. Anyway,
is that in Costco like everywhere, or is that just in Costco, North Carolina?
Costco's in North Carolina. We're hoping and looking to expand, but right now we just launched it in there, so we're just happy with what we have. We're just happy to be at the table. So
let's talk about that a little bit too. Like, what is the process of getting into a major retailer like that? What is that like? I mean, how do you even? I wouldn't even know where to start looking to contact somebody to even get that ball rolling. And I mean, how long did that process take you?
Well, fortunately, now we have the internet.
Yeah.
That helps a lot. So if you're hungry, you figure it out.
Right.
But everybody's got an email address. Everybody's got a phone number. Sometimes you go to your local grocery store, and I remember doing this. I think I can say it now. The statute of limitations may have run out, but on employee conduct at Harris Teeter. But I went and pestered the local manager, and we became first name basis. I'd say hi, we'd catch up, and he'd ask me how things are going with my pitch and all that. But anyway, long story short, any store. Most stores have a binder. I'm doing this with my hands, like a binder in front of the store that has corporate contacts. So,
okay.
9 times out of 10, there's somebody in your local store that you're shopping at that can help you out. And then, I wanted to dovetail this. When you all asked me on this podcast, something that popped in immediately into mind and kind of dovetails into this story there is I was at North Carolina Central getting my master's degree, and I was taking an intellectual property class. And I remember staying after class. It was like in a movie, waiting for everybody to kind of clear out. And I sheepishly walked up to the professor and I said, I got this idea for a hot sauce and, I want to start a business. And what should I do? And I thought, and this is what I think might be important to some of your newer folks to a business, I thought he's going to enumerate everything that we needed to do, have a business plan, talk to a bank, or find an angel investor, all, just a mountain of things. How do I climb this mountain? Can you give me a map? Kind of question. He said, just do it. And I said, excuse me? And he said, just do it. It'll all work out. You'll figure out the problems as they face, so you don't know how to scale up your stock. Well, that's a problem. You figure it out when that time comes. But it's like the old adage, how do you eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time.
One bite at a time. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was that simple confidence that it gave me. Just do it. And you got this. And I was like, okay, terrified out of my mind, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like, you must ask a lot of questions of a lot of people. Hey, you're doing this, you're doing that. Hey, I'm Paige, I'm starting up this thing. And it might be somebody who has a much bigger company.
And everybody puts on their pants one leg at a time. Some people might get that, but most people are generous in spirit. So most people are willing to share. I think I would caution people just use your think on your approach. If that makes sense. Be humble. Not with me, but I'm just saying if there's some Mr. Big with the Fortune 500 company, well, he's probably been asked 100 times already. So maybe just be nuanced in your approach. I don't know. But
I hear you.
I was unabashed about just asking anybody and everybody. How do I do this? How do I do that? And then the same approach to this day with getting our products in. I have people ask me all the time, how do you get your products in this store? How do you get in this store? Well, if I didn't know, I know now. I just figured it out. I picked up the phone. We all have phones now, right? And I don't mean to sound gruff. I'm saying it's you already have and you have the tools already there. So there's no we have little sayings that help us get through things, and they're kind of nerdy, but there are mantras, and one of them is no friend too small, no account too large, and I believe that. So the brick and mortar stores are the thick to our thin times. They're what do you call it? Fast nickels, right? Versus slow dimes, but they fight on for a long time, and I still take care. So if you kind of go through our Instagram posts, you'll see we'll be like, hey, we're in Harris Teeter, we're in Lowe's, we're in Food Line, Publix. Right? We give them their due, but we are also very, very careful, I think, to shine the spotlight, do like a small business spotlight, but talk about people, Cliff's Meat Market in Carborough. Don't forget them because they still keep the lights on. So don't get your pants and you got the account, okay, but don't forget who got you to.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
So when you're getting into a new retailer like that, does it help? Where's the balance of maybe that person just happens to be passionate about your product and they'll go, well, I use this at home all the time. Yeah, sure, you're in. Or do they even care if they like it? Where's they like what you have versus they think it will sell?
So, yeah.
So with the retailers, it snowballs because once you have account A, you can go to account B, and it weighs in the Harris Teeter manager, I should say. I should like shroud his name or something.
Yeah.
Hey, manager
Okay.
from a grocery store. He told me, this is a long time ago, but it stuck with me. The last thing that any retailer wants to hear is that they have to go to another store to buy, X. So if I'm in store, this other store, then like it behooves this chain to pick it up as well. So it just and then get that footprint and that demand, and then they see customers are going because you're becoming a draw for another store. So while they're buying our product at store B, they're going to grab their milk and egg and whatnot.
Right.
And so it just it starts small. And you just got to have faith. I heard somebody say recently, trust the process, and that really stuck with me. Trust the process. Yeah. And there are days where you got bills to pay, and the world's saying no to you, and you got to be prepared for that. Not financially, but you can't quit. And if you're starting something that you feel like it's in the back of your mind that you have the option to quit, maybe hold off on executing. Like don't get something that you're not 110% into. That makes sense.
Yeah, no plan B. Yeah, no plan B, man.
No plan B. Take away the safety net.
My plan B was my CDLs back in the day.
Yeah,
I was in this business for about 3 years or so ish. And I always had my class A's. I was like, if it doesn't work, I got a backup plan. And my renewal had come in the mail. And I checked the mail and I held that envelope and I was like nauseous.
Yeah.
And I set it on my kitchen table and I walked past that thing for a week just staring. I'd eat breakfast and just stare at that envelope. And I was like, why does this make me feel like this? And finally I was like, that's because I tore it in half, threw it in the trash, and man, I was motivated then. You want to talk about waking up like a man on fire? God almighty, man, no plan B.
Little nerdy moments like that, though, but that's like, it's like being in our case, we're, a small family of 3, but it's like being in a tiny cult. We all believe in this and we're all in it together. So Harry, our son, when he's not working on his schoolwork, he's hustling for us, and he's a great salesman, which kind of a side note, but he's like super reserved. Dare I say shy, but he's not loud like his dad.
You got balance. You got to have a counterweight.
He comes out of his shell. I mean, he's like a completely different person when you put him in front of a customer. It's just like it gives me so much joy. But
it was nice meeting him when I came out there the other day.
Yeah. And that's the shop. I'm pointing at our shop here in Pittsboro, a little retail shop in the warehouse, and that's his shop. So by the time he goes to college, my hope is he's going to know more about business. We joke about that Rodney Dangerfield back to school, and he's teaching the business class. He's like, "Oh, first you got to take care of classes."
Yeah. You got it all wrong. You got to grease the local politicians. Yeah. I love that movie.
Harry when he's a freshman. But anyway, I guess the point of saying all that is you've got to be passionate about what you're doing. You've got to be confident, even when you. The odds don't look great. You've got to. Everybody's going to look at you, and you got like, "Yep, I made a decision." When I walked by that CDL renewal envelope, you knew what that was. It's serious, but it's symbolic, and you. My dad taught me something, and this is a super nerdy thing to say, but I'll share it with you all. When I was probably 5, and I'll slow down so y'all can catch it. It's a poem, and it's only a piece of the poem that I remember, but it's stuck with me. I think of it every day. Okay, it goes, somebody said that it couldn't be done, but he with a chuckle replied that maybe it could, but he would be one who wouldn't say so until he tried. So he buckled right in with the trace of a grin on his face, and if he worried, he hit it. Like he hit it, H-I-D. And he tackled the thing, and he started to sing as he tackled the thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. And that's every business, everybody who hangs a shingle of their own. And the world is telling you, don't do it, man.
It can't be done.
So, that's what gets you through is like that almost maniacal, quest to do the thing, that idea that you had in your head. And Caroline has joined me, and Harry has joined me, and now it's like we're in this thing together, and it can be beautiful. It's business, Some days, it's
Yeah.
like you take some on the chin,
Mhm.
And I'll pass this along as well while we talk about taking them on the chin. But I was at a Costco demo. We meet all kinds of really great, interesting people, as you might imagine, thousands.
Mhm.
And you have conversations. We connect. That's the whole reason we do it. We connect with our customers. And this
Mhm.
guy, professional salesman, and he wasn't there to sell me anything. He was on his day off. But he said he just got back from a seminar in Nashville, I think it was. And he said that the speaker imparted this piece of wisdom. He said, "No means never." I love that. It's such a great. I'd like to pass it along to your viewers and listeners.
Mhm.
And Caroline and I say it all the time. Like, you've got somebody you're pitching, and like they're just not giving you the time of day.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm not telling people to quit. I'm saying just recognize when there's some, pick your low hanging fruit, right?
Right.
It's not coming off the tree. Move to another tree.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
sure.
me and John have a similar one. You got to get through the nose to get to the yeses.
Yes, exactly, and that's part. So if you're not, don't take rejection well. Put that on your list of things to improve on. Yeah.
I love it. It's motivation, man. I loved all the people that told me. Even my own parents told me I was crazy when I started this business.
Yeah.
And here we are 15 years later, and the biggest dog training company in the state, yada, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, told you so.
Yeah.
But you knew. And if somebody, flip it on his head, somebody told you that that's what you were going to do one day, before you had the idea for the business, you'd be like,
Yeah.
right? But once you feel it in your gut, that's time.
Go time.
So are you what's your pie chart looking like right now as far as like where your sales are coming from? Are they coming from direct to consumer? Are they coming from your retail places?
That's a great question for Caroline.
Okay.
But
well, give me like an approximate.
So
you must have an idea.
I'll flip it on his head and just say they're all important.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. All right.
Like when I'm finished with this interview, I'm going to start on our retail orders. But here at the this is a distribution center where I am now. But we have 18-wheelers pull up to our. I'm pointing that way.
Yep.
Pull up to our back door. We have a forklift. We'll load it up. Same thing. We'll unload whole truckloads here. So no order too small. We'll send out single bottles all day, every day. We'll send out.
I know. For sure. So you got an 18-wheeler coming in with your stuff in it.
Oh yes.
That must be a wild feeling, man.
Yeah. You know what really gets me? It's and you stay. I do my best to stay grounded because there's Lord knows like anything can turn on a minute's notice. So it's.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of pinch me moments in Caroline too. Yeah, but what really gets me almost on a daily basis is like seeing our stickers. Like it's, and I'm a nerd, right? I'm like, oh my god, that's so cool. Like somebody else sees what I see. Maybe I don't know. It's just neat.
Yep. Yeah, I see them everywhere.
Yeah, we've probably given out north of 500,000 of those over the last 20 years.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing.
Right. Yeah.
Every time I see one, I'll snap a picture. I'll send it to him. I had a dude was working on my house. He had one on his bumper. I was like, I'm an ambassador for them.
Yeah, that's cool.
I love Cackalacky.
It's neat. It's like maybe that's the bigger point here is Caroline and Harry and I have created something that's much bigger than ourselves. And it's got a voice, and it's like I'll kind of steer things a little bit with the social media, like because there's somebody behind it, but the customers have taken over the brand, and the brand ambassadors really have become the face of the brand. So it's cool, and I've seen, and this is what is my hope and dream is that just people of all stripes are into the brand, and I think we've achieved that, which I just absolutely love.
Yeah. That's good. So what is that? What's the plan? I mean, the plan, like, what's your plan, Shane? World domination.
What day is it?
That's what
World
domination. World domination. Yeah, but like how many states are you in?
Oh gosh. Well, our focus is North and South Carolina. That's where our brand is. 10 states with Food Line with our ribs, which is really and that's, I should give a shout out to the Spartanburg meat processing people out of Spartanburg, South Carolina, that do that in partnership with us and Cheerwine. So that's kind of a neat thing. But that gives us a nice big footprint. But really, our bread and butter's right here. We've been sold and still are in little mom and pop places. But we had a grocery chain in Texas, and it did okay. But we figured out that the further that we get away from ground zero, the less we resonate, the Cackalacky brand does. But we have great internet sales nationally, but the retail chains, the bread and butter's right here in North and South Carolina.
Yeah.
We like that. We're like, why? We don't need to be bigger than that. We don't want to be bigger than that.
What's the farthest you've ever shipped anything? What's the most out there?
And I remember sending a pallet of stuff to was it the Philippines, somewhere overseas, in the Asia Pacific.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Stuff to Europe, of course, and South Central America, but mostly North America is where.
Yeah, that's cool. There's that commercial that I think it's for a shipping, commercial or something, but it's like these guys make skis. They're like, we just sold our first order in like wherever. BFE. So
it's wild. And you're talking to the order fulfillment department. So it's wild to see where everything goes. Hey, I do that because I want to stay close.
Yeah, for sure.
My right arm, I don't know if you can see me, is like twice the size of my left arm from the tape gun.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
Popeye arm.
Yep.
That's pretty good. And stuff to California, Maine, Texas routinely, Florida all the time, retail wise. But our wholesale footprint is North and South Carolina.
Gotcha.
Okay, got it. Cool. Shane.
Well, man, I think that's a great way you've given us some wisdom. You've given us a look behind the curtain. We've got all your passion and your talent and everything that you've brought to the table. Man, I mean, I couldn't be happier to have you on, and I appreciate your time. I know you got to get in there and fill some orders. Because, hey, look, one of them might be mine. You better get busy.
This is a great, right? This is a good example of I call it the freedom of thought that a lot of your listeners might be looking for. But every day for me is different. Every day is hard. I sit down at night when I go home, but I don't sit down, and I don't want to sit down. If that makes sense. Everybody's different, but that's my thing. I'm working all day. I don't know what I was going to say. I forgot.
I don't know. I mean, I know, and Shane will tell you the same thing. I mean, entrepreneurship is not a, you're off at 5. It's 24/7. I mean, I've been off the grid twice for 2 weeks in 25 years, and the rest of the time, even on quote unquote vacation, I'm online. I'm still doing meetings. I'm still doing whatever I need to do.
1 hour at a time. It will. We've got a delivery in Wrightsville. Okay. That's we're just working all the time. And
it's lifestyle. It's lifestyle.
That's well put. But so if that's for you, kids, if you like working all the time, like you hear people say, and I say this with respect, but they'll be like, "Oh man, I did an 80-hour work week or 90-hour." Well, we stopped counting the hours a long. It's
if you don't like it, then you're in the wrong business. I mean, obviously that saying, if you have a job you love, you'll never work a day in your life, right?
So, I remember reading I was kind of looking at doing a coffee shop a long time ago, and I remember reading the story, like a firsthand account, just that from this couple that started. They're like, wouldn't it be great? And all our friends will hang out, we'll make coffee, and it'll be, and they found out quickly that it's
a job. It's work.
Job.
Yeah,
it's a job. Right? Or keep counting. It's maybe like 5 jobs. But, Anyway, I just want to say thank you for this opportunity. It's I love your podcast, and I'm a fan of both of you all. So
awesome! Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
And I really feel like I'm speaking for the whole family. I'm kind of the face of Cackalacky by default, but I got to give another shout out to Caroline because without her, this wouldn't be happening.
It's a lot.
Sounds like an amazing woman.
That's for sure. For sure.
All right. Well, thank you all very much. And if
thank you, Paige.
Hey, Paige, do not close your phone yet.
our sign off.
All right.
Yeah. Our sign off. Don't close your phone because
So long, butt fixers everywhere.
When you get the fully uploaded message, you'll get a little green check mark and it'll say you're fully uploaded. Then you can close your phone. If you close it, we're going to lose the whole interview.
All right. Go out there and fix your butts, America.
There you go. Man. Fix that butt.
Awesome. All right, man. Thank you again, Paige. Yeah. Take care. Yeah. Bye.
All right.